What's up with it? Polo Sports Talking Entertainment, Polo Motivation, bro. Look, last night, Jalen Brown, after they defeated the Cavs, he stated after the reporter had asked him, how does Joe Johnson's appearance in the game at 40 years old inspire you? And Jalen Brown basically said it motivates him a whole lot to see him at the tender right age of 40 years old still being able to do what some of the other guys half his age can. You know, this right here is probably, I would say, one of the most compelling and compassionate and motivating, inspiring, all of that stuff, man. All that wrapped up into one that you could truly look at. Because Joe Johnson has been playing basketball for pretty much his whole entire life. And to be able to still be going at this age is really a blessing. And what it also tells you is that sometimes we got to stop focusing on, oh yeah, this person's this age, so he's not going to be able to do this as well. Or that person is, however old that they are, so they're a shell of themselves, or this person can't do this and this person can't do that. Look, either way, guess what? He's fulfilled a lot because just him being out there, whether it was for him being a couple minutes, or whether it was for him playing a full 40-minute game, he still was able to inspire someone. And this is one of the leaders on the team, one of the best ones on the team, in Jalen Brown, who some people feel like he's a better one, and other people feel like Jason Tatum's a better one. Either way, it's still inspiring the young ones. See, when you got veterans like, Udonis Haslam, who I talked about the other day, I was talking about him on our Tickets channel in reference to when we were talking about Anthony Davis and everything. Shout out to Tickets and Pro Basketball Update. But I was like, if Udonis Haslam is 41 years old, which he's the oldest player in the league, can still get out there and still run up and down, still deal with some of the rigors that come along with the NBA, the grind, the travel, yada yada yada. In my eyes, really, none of you really have any excuse because I know some people like in basketball years, yes, and in football years, 40 is ancient. Let's just call it what it is. Even 30 is ancient. They look at LeBron as a senior citizen. So just take that into account. They look at Melo as as if he were a senior citizen. Because in basketball, they look at basketball as a young man's sport. They look at even outside of sports, they look at like hip hop. They look at that as a young man, as a young man's game, or a young woman. But I'm here to tell you that that saying that basketball never stops, that really applies to all ages, all cultures, all ethnicities. You know what I'm saying? And all shapes and sizes. Basketball is not going to stop regardless. Look, if you still feel like you can get out there and still play even at the age of 40, and whether you're 50, 60, go ahead and do it. But see, not only basketball, let's take it a step further. See, we also have to realize, okay, if you feel like you want to accomplish something in anything, whether it's basketball, whether it's singing, dancing, acting, you know, uh, being an engineer, architect, doctor, lawyer, business owner, being in real estate, doing computers, you know, having your own corporation, whatever you desire to do, you can't really look at, oh yeah, well I'm this age, so I can't be able to do that. Then guess what you do? You sell yourself short. You know how I feel about this age. For those of y'all that have been listening to me for quite some time, I really don't care about nothing about age. As a matter of fact, I I care less about age and more about what my next goal is going to be. Because if you look at age and you look at, oh man, well, I can't do this. Guess what? You're letting that be a defining factor in what you do. You let that be a defining factor in what you do. And not only do you let that be a defining factor, you let that be the determining factor of what you can do. And you can't let that be the end all be all, especially when you talk about something like age. You know, you I know there's a lot of people that have this mentality like, okay, yeah, uh, you need to act your age. You need to be your age. You need to be this certain way, or you need to be that certain way. That's not that's true in a lot of instances. But when we're talking about, sorry about that, y'all. Sorry about the pause. But when you're in the game, or a sport like basketball or like a football, stuff like that, can't be you can't look at, or even the military. You might want to still go into the military even at an older age. You understand what I'm saying? You still might want to go in. You still might have ambitions of going in your 30s. Don't ask around, be like, yeah, such and such, is that too old for me or anything like that? Because that shows where your confidence lies. Nobody's really thinking about it but you. And look, I didn't want this to be just solely this polo motivation to be solely based on age. I think a lot of people, they they take age and they try to pinpoint it and be a determining factor. But what I am saying is that you should let this be an inspiration to you and show that, okay, hey, look, even him just getting a 10-day contract, hey, he made a 10-day contract, and he's doing something. Yes, he's been a veteran in the league before. He's already been there. But let's just call it what it is. Let's just call it what it is. You know, they'll look at the age and they'll be like, well, this guy's been in the league when a lot of the players that have already retired were in the league. Such as an AI, or a Baron Davis, or uh, Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady. Some of these guys, and they'll look at that. They're like, wow. But this guy, but see, at the other, at the same token, they'll look at the other side and they'll be like, wow, this guy has really kept his body in great shape. He's still able to run up and down the floor. He doesn't get tired fast and all this other stuff. Now, of course, we are talking about him playing, just a couple minutes or whatever and getting in at the last minutes of the game. It's like, you know, when you talk about, guys that are in their 20s and, at the peak of their athletic point in their life or whatever, it's 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 kind of unrealistic that they're going to throw him out there in a situation where he's playing, a 40-minute game. However, it's not like it's not like he doesn't have the capability to get it done. Because I'm gonna tell you something. When he played in the basketball tournament, which was a tournament for a lot of money that they were playing for, he played a lot of minutes in that game. And then on top of that, they were playing. It was a tournament where you had to play back to back. You know, so people got to understand that you can't let certain things define you. You might have a goal that you're trying to reach and everything, but you might be questioning yourself, and you might be like, okay, well, what are they going to say about me? What are they going to say? How are they going to look at me when I come in and I do this or I do that? You can't let that stop you, no matter what. Oh, what are they going to say if I got a 10-day contract? That doesn't mean. Well, hey, you got a 10-day contract. Let's hope it turns into a 20-day contract. Let's hope it turns into a deal, an actual deal. Now he didn't work out when he was in Detroit. I think some people forget that. He was when he was doing good with the big three. He got a call from the Detroit Pistons. And I think people have forgot that. But you know, Joe Johnson still stays on his grind, much like Lance Stevenson. He still stayed on his grind, even though Lance Stevenson is relatively younger. But you see, when you look at guys, like a Joe Johnson or like a Isaiah Thomas or like a Lance Stevenson, a lot of people be like, "Oh yeah, he's old news. Oh man, what are they doing?" But I never even looked at it that way. As a matter of fact, I was feeling like out of the three, just in my opinion, Lance Stevenson. I know people gonna trip out when I say that. I felt like Lance Stevenson, he should have got more of a better shot because he actually was playing a lot more, if that makes any sense. You know what I'm saying? Like he was playing, he was at a successful point in his basketball career, and he did a lot of things. Now last night, he caused a few turnovers, last night. You know what I'm saying? And these guys that are stepping into the game and getting like, turnovers, and they might seem kind of rusty and all of that stuff. That's expected, especially when you're getting a call up and now you're having to get adjusted to playing on the fly with other individuals who you haven't played. You might know the NBA game, but you're probably still stuck back in how the NBA was used to moving or whatever, and you just got to get caught up to speed a little bit. That's naturally it's going to happen. That's why, like, I kind of took back what I said about Isaiah Thomas in reference to him having the turnovers and taking ill-advised shots, even though he still did it. But for Isaiah Thomas or Lance Stevenson or even ISO Joe to get back to where you were accustomed to see them playing at that level, not at a G League level, not at no pro am level, not at no not China, not taking anything away from overseas or anything like that. But we're talking about NBA. For them to do that, let's just be honest, it's gonna take a little bit of time. It's not gonna happen with overnight. That's the same thing that I was saying about with with Clay Thompson. Don't expect him just to automatically come out there cutting, moving, and automatically just hitting shots and stuff like that. Or then you get disappointed because Clay Thompson is not scoring as much, or he's not doing some of the things that he's normally doing, or even in 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 my from what I like to watch Clay Thompson do is move out on the perimeter and play D. That's what I really like Clay Thompson for. Yes, his shooting was amazing. Don't get me wrong, but his defense was. That's why I like Clay Thompson because he was one of the best two-way players in the game. And I'm willing to challenge anybody on that. You know, like yeah, he didn't dribble that much, but he was an automatic bucket. And on top of that, he was reliable in certain situations of the game. But this isn't about Clay Thompson. You know, this is about being able to still have that will and still have that drive and still have that determination to do whatever is necessary that you want to do. And even though a lot of guys they look at this as a job, it's still fun to a lot of people, even at an older age. Some guys lose the love for it and they lose the passion for it early on. Some guys lose passion for it in their 20s, but then there's some guys that always have that passion for it and it never gets old to them. The grind never gets old to them. The workouts, it never gets old to them. The media, it never gets old to them. The crowd and the atmosphere, you know, everything concerning the game, it never gets old to them. And then you have some guys that, to get away from the game, they think a little bit, they have an opportunity to reflect and reminisce, then they get back into it and they regrow that love that they once had. Polo Sports Talk and Entertainment. Like this video, share it, subscribe, hit the notifications. Until then, I'll get at y'all later.